Hello and welcome to WTNB Today. I'm Wendy Benton, your host. We want to thank you for joining us. LED-gear.com is our sponsor for WTNB Today, and we want to thank them for being one of our partners. One of our other partners is Southeast Crossroads Magazine. We're going to take a look at our calendar of events that is sponsored by Southeast Crossroads Magazine. You can pick one of those up at local retailers around our area. On January 15th, the Kiwanis Club will meet at 12 noon at Mountain View Inn. On January 16th, the Walker Valley High School basketball team will be at wrestling will be at Cleveland at 6 p.m. Also on January 16th, Bradley Central will be at Walker Valley. Basketball, girls play at 6, boys at 7:30. On January 16th, the ARW Wrestling will be at 130 McDonald School Road, and the bell begins at 8. On January 20th, Lee University will have triple play at the Dixon Center, and that's a free concert. Also, we have an evening with Mark Lowry that will be February 17th. The proceeds will be going to the Caring Place, and all of the proceeds will be going to them. So be sure and support them. Tickets are $35 and up, and you can visit thecaringplaceonline.org for more information on that. A lot of good things coming up. We've got a great guest today. He is a social media guru. Mr. Clark Campbell will be joining me after this commercial break, so stay tuned.
My name is Preston West, owner of Keystone Solutions. We specialize in helping small businesses with their IT needs, whether it's hardware or software or computer issues, servers, networks, kind of anything that's under the IT umbrella is what we take care of. We want to be it, if you will. When people are looking for IT help, we want to be the person that you call and the person that you think of first.
People ask,
how did we make it to the top of a Marco's Pizza?
it is the harmony of our flavors.
100% real cheese.
Together, we bring authentic Italian pizza to America.
Our ingredients speak for themselves. Marco's, authentic Italian pizza.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Welcome back to WTNB Today. We have Mr. Clark Campbell with us. He is I call him a social media guru. You're going to enjoy this interview because if you don't understand social media, he's going to enlighten you a little bit, as well as tell us what he does as a social media consultant. Clark, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you all for having me here. It's
We're
a pleasure.
glad to have you.
I feel like we've known each other for a long time, and this is the first time we've met.
I know, exactly. Right? Yes, we always do a pre-interview interview, so Clark is very personable, and I enjoy talking to him. So you have a lot of good information, but I always start out the interviews with your background.
Sure.
So tell our audience a little bit about you, Clark, where you came from and how you came to Cleveland.
It's been a journey. I never thought that Cleveland, Tennessee would be a place I would put my finger on a map and say I'm coming there. But I remember as a kid growing up in Atlanta and in Rhode Island, a little tiny state, about the size of Cleveland and Chattanooga put together. Never thought that I would be here, but I remember driving back and forth when I was a kid up 75 from Atlanta to Rhode Island, and we'd always pass this green sign out there that would say Lee College, and my mom would point to it because she grew up, both of my parents grew up in the South, like on the Gulf Coast, and they knew about Lee, and they knew about the Church of God, and they would always say, that's where that church school is right there, and I just distinctly remember always going through Cleveland, passing by, and that they would point, that's that school that, I don't know, we never said I was going to go there. My dad went to Auburn, studied animal science, and thought I was going to go to Auburn. When we were living in Rhode Island. Again, just such a small, beautiful place. If you've never been, I recommend that you go. And I'm going to Auburn, and then the School of Music got on my radar at Lee, and for some reason I visited. 14 years ago, it was late 1999, or summer of 2000 maybe, and then I came to Lee that fall, and the rest is history. Family, wife, kid. My sister moved down from Rhode Island. She went to Lee. We've had, I think, 8 to 10 people from the high school I attended in Rhode Island, Portsmouth High School, go to Lee and check their records. 8 to 10 of them have come since we came. And there's no special sauce in it besides Lee. Lee's just an incredible, and Cleveland's a great place to live. But have come from my little tiny high school to Cleveland to go to college. So my sister lives here now. My brother-in-law is a city firefighter. And my parents just moved down this month to retire from Rhode Island. And so we got the whole kit and caboodle. My wife's family lives here in town. My father-in-law runs Pathway Press, the publishing arm of the Church of God, and so everybody's here. I don't know how long we'll all be here, but everybody is now that we've arrived. Cleveland is the epicenter.
That's great. Well, my husband's always said that Cleveland was the epicenter of the world,
It really, I think it is. I think
In
it's on
his
there.
mind, it is.
I had a friend that moved from New York around the time that we did, and he literally put his finger on a map. I joked about it. He put his finger on a map and said, God, would you give me a place to live and help me live a better life? And he put his finger on a map, and it just happened to be Cleveland. And now he lives here. He's married. He has a kid, active in church, loves the Lord. It's incredible. I don't know.
Wow.
God's got his hand on Cleveland.
Well, I
think.
say on the show all the time, what a great place it is to live, and it's a great community. Still is.
I agree.
So from Lee, you graduated, and you were in the pastorate.
Yeah. So again, I was expecting to go into music. I was in the Lee University Singers for 4.5 years, something like that. Traveled all over the world, an incredible experience. And I was going to be a music pastor. And I remember going to an event in Atlanta, a college ministry event, a guy by the name of Louis Giglio. He's a college actually now he's a pastor of a church there. He's led the Passion Movement. Just there's too much to talk about there. And then all of a sudden I started to just develop this urge to minister to young adults and millennials born after 82 that were just separating from the church, just leaving, gone, see ya, I'm out of here. Because I felt it. And I knew my friends were feeling that way. And I saw my friends exiting the church and not participating in ministry. And so I said, what do we do? What do we do about this? So I actually got a job at North Cleveland. I have no idea why they were crazy enough to hire me. They hired me as a college pastor, and then I moved into the youth and college role. Had an incredible experience there at North Cleveland, and then eventually became the associate pastor at Heritage Fellowship, which is on South Lee Highway, which is another beautiful part of God's country in McDonald, Tennessee. And so I was there with Pastor Steve Gilbert for 3 years, and then which leads me to where I am today, helping churches, consulting them on their digital media experiences so they can leverage the great things about the internet and social media for their local church, for their community. And so I've had a lot of experience in the church world, love it, actively involved in it, and don't see that coming to an end anytime soon.
Do people find it interesting that you were a pastor at one time?
Oh, every day they're like, "You were a pastor?" I wonder if they're saying, "You don't act like a pastor," but maybe they do. I love people. I'm a people person to a fault. You ever met somebody that's just too nice, and all their life they're like, "You're just too nice." Yeah, that's me. I get labeled that every day. So I'm learning as I'm in my 30s that there is a point where you have to be unconditionally grateful and kind and gracious to people, but there's a level of leadership that requires you going against the flow. That's what I've learned in the last 5 years. There's part of being a people person that requires leadership. And being a small business owner now, which I know we're going to talk about soon, I've had to come out of being a yes person to everything and being a yes but person. Like, yes, but there's a better way. So I don't know. We never talked about that. We didn't talk about that before the interview, but that's probably the biggest leadership lesson I've learned in the past couple of years is pastoring is awesome. Shepherding is great, but it also requires leadership. You've got to go upstream against the flow.
Right. And you took your skills and stepped out into the entrepreneurial world and began Benjamin Clark Productions.
Yeah, that's an interesting story because I will say this: it's all the credit is due to the great people who have supported me and mentored me from Church of God Communications across the street, where I worked for 2 years, in Pathway Press, which I worked there for 2 years, and working under Mitch Maloney and with Kelvin Page and Steve Gilbert. They've all taught me so much, and without their leadership and their voice and their wisdom in my life, I don't know if I would have had the courage to step out on my own.
That's great. That's a great shout out to them too.
It's true. I mean,
they're great men, all three of them. Well, let's hold that thought. Clark's got some really great information, some good stories, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Samantha Young, Managing Editor of Southeast Crossroads Magazine, our area's newest and free monthly publication. We focus on events, people, and culture of our area. Pick one up at over 200 locations in Bradley, Hamilton, McMinn, Meigs, and Polk counties, or check us out online at southeastcrossroads.com.
For over 25 years, Ed Jacobs & Associates has been treating each of our clients like business partners. Finding the right insurance for your employees shouldn't be that complicated or expensive. Receiving quality financial advice for you and your business should be even easier. We treat each client with respect and integrity and handle your situation as if it was our own. Call me today for your own free consultation.
Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying our interview with Clark Campbell. He is a wonderful guy. He's connected to the community. He's all over the place, and he's going to tell us how he got into social media and really the importance of social media to help our audience understand that a little bit better.
Sure. So I think anytime there's a new industry, there's a new product, there's a new service, which I'm not taking credit for any of those things. I'm saying that if there's something new that a small business owner or an entrepreneur launches into, which for me it's social media, it's digital media. What do we do with this thing called the internet? We're still asking that question. We have to think of the core humanity reasons behind it. Like, what are the problems we want to solve? Why does Wendy, why does Clark, why does Joe and Tom driving down the street, why do they need a better path of communication? Like, we have to ask some really simple but profound questions. So why in the world would a church or a business or a nonprofit or even a brand, maybe a realtor, why would they need to learn how to use social media? It goes back to something I learned recently. I was in the headquarters of the Church of God offices, and I was walking up the stairs to a meeting, and I heard Kevin Brooks. He's a representative or something similar to that of the 24th District. And I heard him giving a tour to some travelers that were visiting the Church of God. He pointed up to a mural on the wall, and I wasn't even paying close attention to him, but I heard him say it. And he said, do you know why the Church of God moved from the mountains of East Tennessee, North Carolina, out in the foothills to Cleveland? Why did A.J. Tomlinson move 40 miles, 30 miles, get his family up? They were comfortable. There was an amazing revival happening, and they moved. Like, that doesn't make sense. You're supposed to stay where the good is, right? And they moved to Cleveland, and he said, because of the railroad tracks. And it instantaneously clicked with me. We as humans get really comfortable in the hills, where our family is, where we can go home and build a fire and go down the street to church one block over. But he wanted to move here because he had a message of God's power and the Holy Spirit, and he wanted to get that message across the globe more quickly, which was the railroad tracks. That was your quickest way to move the message, to move a missionary. So I say that to small business owners and even large business owners and nonprofits and realtors and small business owners. I say, get out of your comfort zone. You have a message. You have something good. You have a product, a service, a story. Your church has a beautiful voice in the community. Let's elevate that voice. Let's get it to someone's home at 9:30 at night when they're sitting on their phone doing this, watching TV. I mean, that's what everybody's doing. They're either on their laptop or they're on their phone scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, and they're watching TV. Right. And so there's a way for you to get your message of your business or your church to this device through what used to be the railroad tracks and what is now the internet, or what I would say social media or digital media. So that's the way I love to frame it for people. We're comfortable here, but there's a better way to move your message if you're a business owner, if you're a nonprofit leader. So can I tell a story about the tornadoes?
I think you should.
Is that okay?
I think that's a great idea.
I want to preface this with, in no way do I take credit whatsoever for anything that happened. It was all about the people of Cleveland, period, before I go anywhere. But on April 27th, 2011, many of us watching and listening, experienced one of the most earth-shattering things we could have ever experienced as a community. Not one tornado, not two, not three, not four, but it was through 5 or 6 tornadoes. If you go back and look at the emergency management map, there were 6, I think total of 6 tornadoes in our county around our city limits in one day. It was war zone in Cleveland in many, many ways. And I remember we lived on free will at that point, and I remember the power was out because one of the earlier tornadoes had hit near our home, went through our backyard, and we had no power for 7 days. So I stayed with my sister and brother-in-law downtown, and I woke up the next morning, and this was 2011, so I'm about 3 years into Twitter, and I opened my phone to look at the news, 7-something in the morning. Twitter was where I got my news, and it said 9 dead in Bradley County. And laying there, I'm like, in our county, all of these tornadoes, people are dead. What could we do? And I saw someone else in Chattanooga tweeting, hey, if you know where to help people or you know where people need help, use the hashtag CHA help. And I said, well, that's Chattanooga. What about us? Like, who's going to lead here? And I wasn't even thinking leadership at all. And I just sent out a tweet. I said, and I put it on Facebook, if anyone knows where help is needed this morning, let's use CLE help, the hashtag. And I did not expect a text or a call or Facebook or anything. I just said, let's get some noise out there. And within probably 30 minutes, I had received 3 or 4 phone calls or text messages from friends going, hey, have you heard anything? Have you found out where people need help? I'm here to help. And I was like, no, I was just saying, let's use this hashtag. But people all of a sudden started calling. And myself and a guy named Jerry Redmond, who's a longtime friend, we got in a car together. He called me and said, Clark, let's go figure out what to do. And we got Lindsay Armstrong, who's his niece, and who then founded a nonprofit here in Cleveland at age 16. We got in the car and we drove around. What can we do? What can we do? And all of this time, people were communicating with us. Hey, have you found where people need help? We saw your hashtag. We saw your Facebook post. We saw your tweet. And again, I was like, I was just trying to get the noise out, like raise the noise, not lead. But quickly I found that because of the communication tool that I used, people all of a sudden looked to us to do something. So long and short of it is, I can't even go into the hour-long story, but a couple of nonprofit organizations rallied around with us, came together with us. And again, we couldn't have done this without men and women of action and people for care and learning. They joined us and they said, hey, here's our equipment, here's our trucks, here's our first aid, here's our Operation Compassion, Operation Compassion out here on the north side of town. They came around us, and so we had all these supplies and these vehicles, and we set up a relief center and used Facebook, and before you know it, we had documented over 2,000 volunteers in 2 weeks that worked at one of our relief centers. We began partnering with the Red Cross and with Salvation Army, and fed 8,000 meals, again, in partnership with them. Because of a tweet, because of using social media, it just blew me away. And so that helped me understand the power of social media. Again, all of these collective energies, all these collective voices on social media allowed us to raise and amplify the needs so that the community could then just flood our stations with food and with diapers and with water. It was absolutely incredible. So that's the case study of how I then became more passionate about using it as a real life tool for people to make change, to do good. And now I have a company that does it 5 years later. Not 5 years, what are we, yeah.
Yes.
We're good 4 years later. We're almost at the 4-year mark, I think.
Oh, yes, 2015.
2015 will be 4 years.
Yes.
So,
that's amazing. But you founded Benjamin Clark Productions.
I did. Out of this,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
So maybe a year and a half after that, I saw people were calling me and saying, hey, can you help us with social media? And I don't have a marketing degree. I didn't go study computers and technology. I studied music. And people were calling and saying, hey, would you come show us how to do this and teach me how to tweet? And that just snowballed. And I said, you know what, I'm going to start charging because it's requiring a lot of time. And then the Church of God called me. They were like, can you show us how to tweet? I was like, I'd love to. It's fun. And I'm part of the Church of God. I went to Lee, and my family is in the Church of God. And before you know it, I went to them last year, and I asked, hey, can I go on my own and continue serving you from a subcontractor role? And they said, we'd love for you to. And I was like, really? Like, I thought they would be like, no, you got to stay here and work for us. And they were like, no, I think you could really help us from the outside, which just blew me away. So started my company, went for it, and now about 9 months later, it's crazy. Cannot believe God's provision. I like to use that word. It's His blessing, sure, but we all have a blessing of air today. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, His provision in ways that I could have never expected.
Well, the doors that just keep opening.
They do. They continue to open, and we're growing in not only consulting. That's our primary deliverable. Is we sit down with you for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months, and we help you look at your digital assets, your photography, or you don't have photography. We help you gather that photography. So we help you identify what you have, and then either create something or then show you how to share that with the world.
And so Benjamin Clark Productions is evolving.
It is evolving. I'm glad you asked.
So tell us a little bit about what you're going to evolve
What we're
into.
doing, yeah. So just as of recently, I don't like calling it Benjamin Clark Productions. I hate name promotion. It irks me. There's a marketing reason why my friends convinced me to use Benjamin Clark Productions, but I'm so excited that it's moving away from that into a company called Social Lion. Like, we want to make your message roar. We want to make your message louder. And so we've recently, a couple of us, we've had some consulting from a guy that lives in Maryville, Tennessee. He's a New York Times bestseller. He's written books on Twitter and influence and digital media and marketing. He consults people like Adidas and AT&T and Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson. He sat down with us and he said, here's what you need to do. And I was like, you're giving us business advice for free. He's a very kind man, Mark Schaefer. And we formed this company. He coached us on forming a company called Social Lion, and we specialize in consulting and event social media. May I go into the event thing, which makes me really excited. My wife is an event planner. She's a wedding and event planner, and I've been actively involved in events all my life, video, TV, production. Being here in the studio lights me up, no pun intended. I love television. I love cameras. I love telling a story through digital media. And so we are specializing in events, parties, concerts, conferences, association meetings, anniversaries, big celebrations and parties. And what we do is we go in and we help you amplify the message of your event. So you have something you want to tell the world about, we want to help you amplify it through social media. And that particular service is called Event Lion. So Social Lion is the consulting part of what we do, and Event Lion is what we do. We go into your church and you want to elevate your message on Sunday mornings. We help you get the message on social media out to the people who aren't there, the people who are sleeping in, which there are a lot. Bed Springs Baptist is a very warm place to be on Sunday mornings. So we help the church elevate that noise. We help nonprofits and businesses when they have a conference. We help them do the same thing.
Okay. Let's take a quick break, Clark, and we'll come right back and finish up our discussion.
Okay.
We all know that social media and your digital presence is important. Oftentimes we lack the resources and the people to be effective in the communication of our brand, our strategy, and our messaging. We help your organization or brand through timely coaching, event strategy, content curation, and campaign management. Content is king, but knowing your audience is just as important. By partnering with us, we will walk you through the steps of making sure your brand and your organization are telling a better story.
Our coaching partnership includes monthly communications for you and your team, annual visits, and exclusive training for your organization. So if your organization is starting at square one, our coaching partnership will help give your digital presence a voice.
Events and conferences are great for those who made it,
But who doesn't want to let that excitement spill over into their digital community? We've seen events of 100 people reach over 200,000 people through social media platforms. By partnering with us, we will help you increase your conference materials in sales and get more people to your event next year.
Campaigns, whether for politics or for a cause, require planning, analysis of data, and strategy. We will coach you through entire campaign marketing strategies and provide your team with a comprehensive digital playbook. Spend less time printing road signs and more time establishing your digital presence.
Every group online speaks a unique language. Your audience may consist of people who have been on social media for years or for days, and understanding your audience is key to producing great content. If you partner with us, we will help you analyze and understand your audience so that you know that your message is heard.
The Cleveland Housing Authority, serving Bradley County since 1959. The Cleveland Housing Authority's mission is to provide affordable, safe, and sanitary housing opportunities to low-end and moderate-income families, including elderly and handicapped persons, while supporting programs to foster economic self-sufficiency. Our newly redeveloped premier housing, the Bach Glimmer Townhomes, just steps from the beautiful campus of Lee University, feature updated kitchen appliances, washer-dryer hookups in each unit, and private back patios for you to enjoy with your family. These newly renovated 2-bedroom, 1-bath townhomes are available for families, individuals, and students who qualify. Income and employment documentation is required for all residents. Flexible monthly rental options are available, so contact us today to see if you qualify for premier housing from the Cleveland Housing Authority. Visit www.clevelandhousingauthority.com or call us 423-479-9659.
Welcome back. We had to take a quick break and come to the end of the last segment, and I want to get back with Clark real quickly and just to give the audience an example of an event that you've actually done that has benefited from the Event Lion.
Yeah, so what Event Lion does, and we've done conferences from, we've worked with conferences such as Catalyst in Atlanta and the Orange Conference and Q Conference. A lot of them have been Christian organizations, and we typically, what we are going to be doing, what we've done before, is we take a crew in. Think of it like college game day. They come in with a truck, they come in with reporters, writers, graphic designers, photographers, videographers, and anchors, and they tell the story of the sporting events, and they amplify it through TV. Well, we are doing the same exact thing. We come in with a crew with writers, photographers, videographers, reporters, journalists, and we amplify the event, but we do it on the phone. We do it through social media. So instead of it being a TV screen, which is what ESPN and College Game Day does, our goal, our job is to amplify the event on social media. It's really the sweet spot that we're trying to do, and we've done that with some events with some big success, and that's where we're going with Event Lion.
That's great. Well, and I think it's hard for some people to wrap their brain around exactly how it works. But, you know, as technology advances and, you know, we've got more and more knowledge and ways to do things, you know, this is just the sign of the times, really, where television kind of took off and took things to a new level. Now it's through our phones and through social media.
And it's all about learning. I want to throw you this quote we talked about earlier. Eric Hoffer said this: "In times of change, learners will inherit the earth, while the learned will remain beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists." So it's all about just being committed to learning and saying, when I wake up today, what can I learn that will make me better at what I do as a husband, as a father, as a leader, as a business owner. Being committed to learning is the key to leadership, in my opinion.
Yes. Well, and I think that's a good quote for those out there who may be intimidated by some of this. And I know I've got family members that are, and you know, texting has been a big deal.
Sure,
you know, to be able to send text, and my kids text, that's all they do. And so this is just beyond that even.
Just be committed to a trickle, just one drip a day. If you had to put your cup under a waterfall one time a day, that's just enough to learn something today. Because we're under a waterfall of information in the world we live in. So if we could just put a cup under, not be afraid of putting the cup under there, what can we learn today? Just one time a day, it will help us move forward together.
Right, right. Well, I think that's a great way to end the interview, and hopefully the audience has learned a lot, and especially what Clark does, and I think he's brought a good face on social media. I called him a guru. I think you would agree with me after this interview that he definitely is. He knows what he's talking about, and even if there's anything that you may have or your business may want, please get in touch with Clark. And your we had your phone number up. Is it still under Benjamin Clark Productions?
BenjaminClark.com, Benjamin Clark Productions, and my phone number is there. You can contact me. I'd love to help you.
Okay.
That's what I'm here to do.
Awesome.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Clark.
Good to meet
We've
you.
enjoyed it. And let's take one quick look again at our calendar of events sponsored by Southeast Crossroads Magazine. And on January 15th, the Kiwanis Club meeting will be at 12 noon at Mountain View Inn. January 16th, Walker Valley will be at Cleveland. Their wrestling match will be at 6 p.m. that evening. Also on the 16th, Bradley Central will be at Walker Valley. That's the girls and boys basketball game starting at 6. January 16th, ARW Wrestling will be at 130 McDonald School Road at 8 p.m. And on January 20th, Lee University will have Triple Play at the Dixon Center, and that's a free concert. And please do not forget, an evening with Mark Lowry will be at the Conn Center, and that is to benefit the Caring Place. You can go to thecaringplaceonline.org for ticket information, and that will be February 17th at 7 p.m. So we look forward to that. Thank you for being with us today. Hope you enjoyed our guests, and we will see you next time on WTNB Today.